That's Joy.
Va bene?
Va bene.
Hi, I'm Judith Unger, sculptor, artist. I like to show you some of the drawings that I did in the last couple of weeks in Venezia. Venice and Florence. This is a Raffaello, Annunziato, the Annunciation. And Michelangelo, one of the few Michelangelo paintings that are in museums today. And this is the Holy Family. Okay, I'm going to talk about my biennial sculpture, Leda and the Swan, my revision of it, a changing narrative of female existence over time. Leda is part of a series of my sculptures entitled Mythological Images, my revision of the Greek myth Leda and the Swan. Leda and the Swan has been portrayed through the centuries by artists such as Da Vinci, where Leda and the Swan are kissing. It's always bothered me since he attacked her and she would not be kissing the swan, so I did a revision. This is a poem by W.B. Yeats, A Sudden Blow, the great wings beating still, above the staggering girl, her thighs caressed, by the dark webs, her nape caught in his bill, he holds her helpless breast upon his breast. My rendering of the myth brings the legend into today's context. It offers a changing narrative of female existence over time. Unlike the story of the ancient Greek myth, the sculpture, Leda and the Swan, transforms herself into a powerful swan who can fight off her attacker and protect herself. My version of Leda pushes toward gender equality. As I sculpted this series, I saw the strong sensual shape of the swan and the woman become one. A little bit about myself. I studied at Rhode Island School of Design, where I fell in love with sculpture. Clay felt so right, the fluid sensuality in my hands. Sensuality I learned to translate into polished sculpture. I need to draw and sculpt. It is essential to my existence. The sculpture in the biennial is ceramic with 22 karat gold on it. It gets fired a number of times, each time a lower temperature in the kiln. I love to sculpt on circular forms, the exquisite harmony of a beginning and an end emerging in time. I live and work in rural Vermont. My sculpture has been deeply influenced by my visits to Venice. Venetian color and light so breathtaking, gilded light on land, sky, and water. A painter would need a new vocabulary of paints. My eyes fill with tears of joy each morning. Each time I visit Venice, I return home to the United States, Vermont studio in an explosion of creativity. Each place, Venice and Vermont, magnifies the intensity of my work. These are excerpts from my journals. I try to draw most days, and I also write to help get rid of some of my creativity so I can sleep at night. Excerpts from my Venice journals. We stood applauding from the ornate golden royal box centered in La Fenice Opera House. A wide, private staircase sweeps up to the velvet and golden mirrored box overlooking a central inner view of the magnificent jewel box. Mario Brunello, cello in hand, conducts the symphony orchestra with his bow. He plays his cello exquisitely in an arena of complete silence. I hear the sounds of a flute and harp come from his cello. Marvelous. We stand and applaud. I'd loudly yell, "Bravo!" and "Squisito." I am told his mother sits next to us. She beams up at me as I smile at her and say, "Congratulazione, your son is wonderful." She glances at my drawing pad and says I draw beautifully like Da Vinci. I laugh a loud laugh. Organ concerts at San Giorgio across the Grand Canal from San Marco. I draw, and the priest removes the ornate rope from the inner sanctum to offer me a seat on one of the ornate altar chairs. Drawing at another palace, the guard looks at my drawing and says, "It's so beautiful," then offers me coffee, hoping to lengthen my visit. It amazes me that Venetians, surrounded by so much art of the masters, have so much awe, respect, and appreciation for contemporary art. Art flows timelessly in their existence. My work is a celebration of strong women. My hope is that you enjoy my sculpture and take a powerful memory of it home with you. Thank you. I love clay. I fell in love with it in Rhode Island School of Design years ago in the 60s. I went to school for industrial design and got my hands in sculpture, and I just said, no, that's it, I'm a sculptor. I basically try to portray the sensuality of the clay. When the clay is wet, it's an incredible sensual material. I mean, it doesn't act that way afterwards. Your hands get ripped up and everything. But while you're working on it, it's incredibly plastic and sensual. And what I tried for years and finally succeeded is to carry through the sensuality in the fired piece too, so you want to touch it. And I really liked, a lot of people tonight said that they wanted to touch it, and that's great. And I said, go ahead, and they said, oh really? You can't, it's not gonna break that easily. You can. What I've been working on the last couple of years, and I'm in my studio all the time, can't keep out of my studio, do not need motivation. I have 18 pieces already lined up that I wanna make, and then there'll be more and more and more, and I'm very, very happy about that. I'm really, I'm very pleased that I am that motivated. I don't have to, push myself in the studio. Anyways, using the sensuality of women who are not afraid to be strong and sensual, and that's what's coming across in my pieces. This is stonework clay. It's a high fire clay. I talked about taking it off the pedestal and dropping it on the floor. I'll do that another opening. I don't think it would break. I really don't. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think it's going to break. Does anybody have any questions about it? Oh, it's hand built. It's doing things because I studied sculpture. I did study technical clay things, so I know how to mix up glazes and all those things. But I don't have the boundaries of a potter or ceramicist. So I do things, the company that I get the clay from says I can't do what I'm doing. And every once in a while I can't do it, like 1 out of 10, it collapses on me and I'm in my studio holding it, please go back together again. It won't. Clay is about as stubborn as I am. So technically it's difficult, I love it. These things are probably 45 pounds when they are wet.
Well, thank you.